Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, otherwise strange content. Today, I'm doing another old school video game video. I haven't done one of these in a while, but you guys really liked the other two that I did. They'll be linked in a playlist somewhere. But we're coming to you today with another Nancy Drew game from the late 90s. It's called Nancy Drew, Stay Tuned for Danger. It's about Nancy Drew solving crime on the set of a soap opera. So you know it's gonna be fantastic. Quick disclaimer, I am not playing live again today because with some of these old games it can be tricky to film and be operating the game, and sometimes they crash and I don't want to have to break down crying today. So I have pre-recorded all the footage. I did it yesterday morning. I asked my cat to help me. He was mostly just mad that I was sitting in his favorite chair, and so he didn't, so it took me a little longer than usual, but you know, got it all recorded, and now I'm going to be doing my commentary while watching some of that footage back today. So, nobody come for me saying that I'm not playing live in the comments. You'd be right, but you don't get to come for me.
Dear Bess, you'll never guess who I'm visiting in New York.
Batman?
Maddie Jensen, your favorite soap star from Light of Our Love.
Oh. She's cool too.
According to Maddie, Rick Arlen is getting death threats, but he won't go to the police.
So yeah, there's the soap star, Rick Arlen. He's getting death threats. He doesn't really want to do anything about it, so Nancy has to come in and save his ass. Typical stuff.
Can you imagine anyone not liking Rick Arlen, daytime's cutest hunk?
I was gonna make a joke about how it's kind of a low bar if he's daytime's cutest hunk, but I don't want to, like, shame anybody, even though he's not a real person. Just shouldn't do that. It's not cool.
Come on in, Nancy. The door's open.
So Nancy and this other soap opera star from the show, Maddie Jensen, are both staying as like roommates in her Aunt Eloise's New York apartment. I don't really understand it either, but that's what we're working with. And then Maddie just stares at us for like a full 5 seconds before she starts talking to us. We just like stand in the corner, just like staring at her back.
Welcome to New York, Nancy.
And then we just launch into conversation.
5 a.m. shoots, a million lines to learn, people all uptight and yelling. And now Rick's getting these death threats.
It says something about the industry that she likens 5 a.m. shoots and people yelling at you and stuff and memorizing lines to somebody literally getting death threats on their life. She's like, yeah, well, we had an early call time last week, and the director's in a bad mood, and somebody's getting death threats. Like, it's a whole thing.
Someone sent him poison chocolates?
Alright, so she tells us about some poison chocolates, and then she is like, hey, I gotta go to set. Here's a visitor's pass. Come and visit me. And then she also gives us a copy of the house keys.
I'm always losing my keys, so I've got plenty of copies.
So, she's just got multiple copies of keys to someone else's house just laying around New York City. She's very nonchalant about that. So now that she's gone, we can look around the apartment, and this game, it's so old that there's definitely like a design flaw in the way that you have to look at every single frame of this game or it will not let you progress. I spent so much of my time just like making sure I didn't like miss anything, and it was super boring. We can look at some funny things though, like the script that she has here, which by the way is not oriented like any script that exists in real life, I don't think. This dialogue reads like something out of Episodes. You could have shown a little respect for my privacy. You know me better than that. Your business is my business, babe. I hate that. You can also look at all these really horrifying pictures of like the animated characters' faces superimposed onto real people, and the faces, like the size of the heads don't match the bodies, and it just is really uncanny looking. Maddie also just has a framed picture of herself, which is kind of weird. I mean, she's very pretty. I don't blame her, but I've never known anybody to just frame a picture of just themselves, you know? Also, she's left a note for us to call our boyfriend Ned. Never really approved of Ned. I remember being like 12 years old and reading some run of books about Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, and Nancy dumped Ned for Frank Hardy, and I was like, yeah, girl, you're too good for Ned. Poor Ned, I'm probably way too hard on him.
Hello?
Guess who?
Nancy!
He's not real, so why am I apologizing to him?
By the time you get back to River Heights, I'll be an old man.
That's okay. I'll still love you.
Even if I'm bald and wearing dentures?
Even if you're toothless and hairless.
It's so romantic. So now we can go to the Worldwide Broadcasting Studio where they film the show and look around in the lobby. The only real thing we can actually look at here are a bunch of magazines with the letters cut out, which is supposed to be a clue because, like, the threatening death threat letters that are threatening and threat death, they all are, like, those, like, ransom-y looking letters with, like, the letters cut out of magazines. But I've always found this weird because that means that whoever is sending the death threats either is like, to cast suspicion off of myself, I will take the magazines from my place of work and then leave them there once all the letters are cut out, just so that the cops know which magazines to test for my fingerprints on. Or it means that if the person sending the letters is not somebody who works there, they're sneaking into the place just to borrow magazines, because I guess they're, what, too cheap to buy magazines? They're only $2.75. Threatening letter writer. I mean, you've done worse things, because you're threatening somebody via letters, but still.
Can I help you?
This is Ralph, the vastly underappreciated security guard. Now we get to talk to Maddie in her dressing room.
I do know someone who could be jealous enough of Rick to do something like this. Yuri Danner, Rick's twin brother. You see, Rick's character has an evil twin, Yuri, and everyone's been saying that it's him who's causing all this trouble.
It's true, there is always an evil twin on a soap opera.
Oh, look at the time. I've got to get to makeup.
But you're in makeup? Do you need different makeup? So now we can snoop around her dressing room a little bit and see some not super helpful things. Her 5,000 bottles of lipstick. A newspaper that I just realized this time around says something about an embezzler escaping to Rio de Janeiro, so you know it's a super, super important clue. But we also find one of the only, like, real puzzles in this game. This was an older game, like, before they really figured out how to integrate puzzles into their puzzle games. So this is one of the only puzzles we get. It's like a weird kind of, not jigsaw puzzle, it's like a ripped up, somebody has ripped up a note and very conveniently made sure to rip it up into straight, neat, organized lines so we can very concisely put the whole thing together and see what the note says. Because you know when you just, like, neatly rip up a note and then lay it out carefully at the bottom of your jewelry box, right? And then the note doesn't even say anything helpful. It's the most boring note in the world. Come on, note. Do better. We now get to my favorite scene in the game. It is a cutscene where Nancy is watching one of the scenes from the soap opera get filmed, and oh my god, it's hilarious.
Have we blocked this already?
Yes, I think.
Alright, real quick, I'm gonna stop you there. This is a really nitpicky thing, and I'm so sorry because nobody cares about this but me. But it doesn't make sense that she would ask him as they're about to roll if they've blocked out the scene yet, because you have to block out the scene to, like, know what you're doing. Blocking just means, like, you know, like, where you're gonna stand and where your marks are, so, like, it's just a very weird thing. I don't know. Anyway.
Rory, I have to talk to you.
I don't want to see you, Serena.
No, Rory, don't go. I love you.
I don't want to see you, Serena.
Wow, they are paying their writers too much money on this show. But then, uh-oh. One of the Kliegelites just falls, almost hits Rick. Doesn't. I don't know how, because it kind of just, he just kind of sidesteps it. I don't know how he got away from that unscathed, but he somehow gets out of the way and then very slowly runs away and then threatens to call his agent.
Sheesh! What was that? I could have been killed! Get my agent on the phone, now!
Which is fair. I mean, I'd also be shaken. So now they clear out everybody from the set because now it's like a crime scene. They don't bother to clear out Nancy, who's just like a random visitor. You know, she's just, you know, she's not even part of the crew or anything like that.
Clear him out, everybody.
Looks like that's a wrap for today.
Stage crew, you're on standby.
They clear out everybody who works there and then just leave Nancy behind and we get to investigate. We can grab random things that we have no reason to know that we need yet, like we can in all these games, like a screwdriver. It will come in very important later, I promise. What else can we look at that's not boring? Oh yeah, we can look at the very obvious signs of tampering with the Klieg that were just left under the coffee table on the set. I This is like the worst criminal ever. How has he not been caught yet? Why are we here to catch him? Why do we have to do this job? And look at this. He leaves an open threat on the teleprompter. He could be a little less heavy-handed, don't you think? Or she. Maybe it's a girl. Hashtag feminism.
Oh, Nancy, this is horrible. There's no way that could have been an accident. I'm too upset to deal with this. I gotta get out of here. I need some space.
Right, so without Nancy being able to say anything, we just go into her dressing room and Maddie just like monologues about how scared she is, which is fair, and then just leaves. So we're kind of left with nothing else to do but to talk to Rick himself, which we probably should because he's an almost murder victim at this point.
Hello, gorgeous. Where have you been all my life?
Oh, and he's really creepy. That's a thing.
Well, mi casa es su casa. You know, my house is your house. Stay beautiful.
I profoundly dislike him. We can look around his dressing room too. You're getting the picture, right? This game is a lot of like scanning rooms for stuff that we don't need, but if we don't look at, the game won't let us progress. We get to see some of the death threats in this room though, which is kind of interesting because the bad guy just writes like the most comically evil bad guy ever. It's hilarious. There's no escaping my wrath. Also, the typewriter that this thing was typed on drops its Y. Keep that in mind. I remember Michael Gray saying this in his, classic walkthrough of this game. Why does Rick just, keep all of these death threats just laid out? Wouldn't you want to, put them away somewhere if you want to keep them for the police or, just throw them out? But why would you just want them, decorating your dressing rooms that you see day and night? He just keeps a box of dead flowers that somebody sent him? Why? All right, let's go back home and talk to Maddie.
Hey, taxi!
Where to, lady?
7226 Lexington Avenue, please.
On my way.
That's questionable. Wait, Maddie's not here? Where did she go? Isn't Maddie supposed to be... Oh, because I forgot to do something. I'm just bad at this game, sorry. See, I have to go talk to the director and let her kick me out.
The set's closed to visitors. I'll need to take your pass away.
So there's that.
But if it's any consolation, I'll be more than happy to show you the door.
She's a very lovely person. Now we get to talk to Maddie and be like, Maddie, I got kicked off the set that I'm not allowed to be on anyway. And Maddie's just like, well, I'll get my agent on it right away.
My agent could get you a job as an extra so you could get on the set. You don't have to do anything. They just need to have people standing by.
All of my extra friends who have done any kind of BG work in the industry are probably just seething right now because one, you don't need an agent to become an extra. I got my first extra gigs, actually most of my extra gigs I got off of listings that I saw on Facebook pages of different casting companies in the area. It's not nearly as prestigious as all that. But also the line, you don't have to do anything, they just need to have people standing by. Cut to the BG that I know that are on their feet for 16 hours a day in 5-inch heels and outside in the cold just having to do these takes over and over and over again. I see you guys. I appreciate you guys, even though Maddie Jensen does not. So now we go and visit Dwayne Powers. He's the agent in question. First, we have to get buzzed in using the most annoying intercom I've ever seen in my life. Where's Powers' talent? Did it leave? No, it's right here. Sorry, I'm really bad at this game. Let me in! I hate that so much.
Mr. Powers, Maddie Jensen sent me to see you about a job as an extra.
I'm sorry. I'm in Suite 101. Come in.
Anyway, we go in, we meet Dwayne, he apologizes for being such an asshole.
Normally I don't do this, but seeing that you're a friend of Maddie's, I could pull some strings for you.
Okay, I appreciate what you're doing, but it's really easy to become a BG. You're not casting me in the lead role of... What's a current TV reference? I just am now realizing I don't watch a lot of current TV. Queen's Gambit? You're not casting me as the lead role in Queen's Gambit, but thank you, I appreciate it.
Not only did I provide them with Maddie Jensen, but Rick Arlen as well.
Oh, you were Rick's agent.
You're Rick Arlen's agent?
Yes, I was. But I must confess that the man has no talent.
Oh, well, that's a shame. All right, so let's go back to set and lord it over the director's head that she can't keep us off of her set forever.
I'm working with Dwayne Powers' agency. I heard he's a really good agent.
If we really need talent, we call someone else.
Aw, well now my feelings are hurt a little bit. Do you care that the the light was tampered with and somebody's trying to kill your star.
Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a little Miss Sherlock Holmes on the set.
I'll take that as a no. Dang, Rick must be a really shitty person to work with, that, like, the director whose whole career is riding on keeping the show afloat doesn't even care if he dies. That's pretty harsh. We now get to talk to my favorite and most underutilized character in this whole game, Millie, who is the owner of the whole building, but likes to just chill out in the prop room.
It's open! Yes, my dear.
She's so much fun, I love her.
Listen to my riddle, and when you know the correct answer, I'll let you in.
She gives us riddles to do before she'll let us get stuff out of the prop room, and it's so fun because I love riddles, and sure, they're like easy riddles that kids can solve, but like I feel smart when I do them. I feel like I have really bad posture today. I kind of always do, but it feels really bad today.
What is full of holes but holds water?
The plot of the first Indiana Jones movie. Oh yeah, and the sponge. So now we can just look through a ton of stuff in this room. I'm not gonna bore you with having to sit through all of it like I did. I played this game so you don't have to. But we do get one other puzzle in here. It's like one of those like ring moving puzzles where you can't put a bigger ring on a smaller ring, but you have to get all 6 of them from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Solving the puzzle gives you like a clock hand, which we'll use for something else later. Give me a second, I'm getting there. And we get pliers. Again, very weird, like, in-universe that Nancy's just walking around being like, well, I might need these tools later on. Guess I'll just snipe them and put them in my backpack. But you will need them later, so maybe Nancy's psychic. You also have to grab a doorknob out of this box of doorknobs so that if you ever have to like get back in here, you can. If you forget it, like if you miss it, first of all, you're screwed because there's no way to get back in. And if you don't get the pliers, then you can't progress in the game. It's very frustrating. But also, why a doorknob? Why not a key? Because like there's a doorknob on the door. Am I supposed to take the doorknob off and put on a different one that'll like magically open the door for me? That's not how doors work. Let's see, we get an oil can. We randomly find the username and password for the computer that's gonna be found in the director's office later. In the binding of this binder, I guess? I don't know. Also, in this room you find a typewriter that drops its Y. I just realized that I told you guys in the video to keep in mind the fact that the notes, the threatening notes, had like dropped Ys. And then I never told you what that amounted to. It's because of this. But anyway, that room is pretty boring. Let's go do something less boring. Let's go put the clock hand on the clock. I still to this day am not entirely sure how you're supposed to know to put it on the 11, but you are. And when that happens, you get a key, because apparently they just hide one of their maintenance keys in set deck. On set. Like, this is the weirdest set I've ever seen. You can also use the oil can to loosen up this wheel and drop down this, what's the word? Ladder. That's what those things are called. You can drop down this ladder and go up to like the catwalk area where you find another very obvious clue. It's a giant piece of fabric that was ripped off on the place where the Klieg light that was tampered with had fallen from. Again, just the worst bad guy I've ever seen. I mean, I want him to get caught because he's a bad guy, but still, he's very bad at it. Oh, we go back to the apartment and Hannah, you know Hannah from the original Nancy Drew books, the housekeeper, she sent Nancy a VHS that has like a TV interview with Rick on it, and it's also hilarious.
We're here on the set at Worldwide Broadcasting Studios with soap heartthrob Rick Arlen. The studios are abuzz with talk that you may be heading for a career in films.
Anyone from New York or New Jersey, feel free to complain about that bad accent in the comments.
Our sources say that you've been a victim of a stalker. Is that true?
What a cheerful way to ask somebody if somebody's stalking them.
I feel like I'm being watched at every moment, and always at the same time. Weekdays from 2 to 3 on Channel 13.
Ugh. Alright, let's go talk to Rick. Oh, Rick isn't here and his door is ajar. Die Rick. That's not very nice. Okay, so this really creepy, distorted message starts playing, And basically what we have to do is use the screwdriver to very slowly unscrew the front bit off of this cassette player to get to the inside where there is a bomb. Yay us. This is too stressful. You know what we're already all going through this year? Game. I know you don't because you were made 21 years ago, but we're going through a lot. We don't need this stress in our lives. Oh god, I forgot what the order was. Cut wire. Come on. Even knowing that it's just a game and that I was going to get through it without it blowing up, it's still terrifying. So that night, the producer of the show calls to thank me, but really he's just trying to scold me from walking into somebody's dressing room, which if I hadn't, the whole place would have blown up. So I'm not really sorry, Mr. Producer Man. We can hit him with a bunch of questions because it's literally the only time in the game that you're allowed to talk to him.
Is there video surveillance of the dressing room?
We're currently working with the police on that. But there are no security cameras in the dressing rooms.
Yeah, that's really creepy if they were to have cameras in the dressing rooms. Ugh.
I even hired extra security. My own mother couldn't have gotten in here.
I know he just means it's really secure, but I like to imagine that, like, his mother is just, like, constantly trying to break in and, like, steal stuff from set, and he's just like, ha ha ha, now you can't get in, Mom.
Listen, I need to get back to work. Do you need anything else?
Stop trying to rush me off the phone. I saved everybody's life today.
So, what can I do for you, young lady? Your wish is my command.
No, thank you.
Right, I forgot. You're celebrating your 70th birthday next month?
I like this line because Nancy Drew, as a character, was about to turn 70. Very clever, her interactive.
Old Millie Strathorn! She's great, except for the fact that she's never liked me.
I mean, I'm not really a big fan of yours either, Rick, so Millie and I are kind of on the same page there. Oh god, I just love this bass boosted sounding background music. Gotta love those classic games. But anyway, after the bomb scare, the production sent over a code, like a code to get in through the back door for like extra security reasons, I guess. So now that we have that, we're able to get into the like production studio at night and sneak around. So that's kind of fun. But before I go there, I'm gonna sneak around in Dwayne's office, I think. All right, which one did I have to buzz in on? I have to basically trick somebody into thinking I'm here with their pizza or something.
It's about time you showed up. I've been waiting 45 minutes for that pizza.
You know how mad I'd be if I buzzed somebody in thinking I was gonna get pizza and then no one gave me pizza? Furious. But here's Dwayne's office. We are going to get in the way that we're going to get into everything at night. We're going to jimmy the lock with our security pass because apparently Nancy Drew is Magnum PI. So now we have to get into this filing cabinet, which is locked. The key will be in this briefcase, which he left behind for some reason, which is also locked. But we can find the code to that in his wallet, which is in his jacket, which I don't know why it's still in his office. It's the middle of the night. But anyway, yay for us. And also in this briefcase, the game makers really want you to know that Dwayne has no money. He's being foreclosed on. His bank account is being shut down. Poor guy. But he apparently managed to scrape together $35 for a ticket to Rio. Wasn't there something about an embezzler being in Rio? I'm suspicious of Dwayne. So now I'm gonna use the secret passcode and get into the studio, and I have to be quick when I'm going through the hallways because if I don't get into a room in a short amount of time, then Ralph, the security guard, will kick me out and I'll have to use my second chance because even though everybody makes fun of Ralph, he does his job. All right, let's use that username and password that we found for the computer. But that was the password. That was the password. Oh, that wasn't the password. My bad. Find a weird version of How Do I Love Thee with all the words swapped out to be threatening. Cool. We find a calendar with the director's anger management class. Good for you for dealing with that, Miss Director Lillian. We also find this, which is going to tell us the code to get into the production editing room. We have to use the 3D glasses that we got in Rick's office to see it though. Where are my 3D glasses? Did I forget them? I forgot the 3D glasses. I'm so sorry. pretend that I got those way earlier than I did. All right, so we can see this code, which we're gonna use to get into the production room. Wow, look at all of these tapes. There's no possible way I can know which one I need. Oh, it's that one. That's the one I need. That's the only one I'm able to take because Nancy is clairvoyant. Use that key that we found in the clock. Turn the power on to something. This is my least favorite thing that I have to do in this game. We have to basically take a cassette recording of the bomb threat voice and try to like pitch it up and down and see if we can learn any clues from it. We don't. There's like no like point where the game tells you, good job, you did it right, now you can leave. You just have to kind of move things up and down and hope that you did it enough that the game will let you progress.
I need something to make this work.
Be quiet, Nancy. Ralph, the security guard, will hear us. All right, we turn the light on to this very loud puzzle. When we solve it, we get a secret passage in the floor. Nice. And in this other room that it takes us to, we find right in plain sight the very clear match to that piece of fabric that was torn off by the Klieg light with an employee ID badge. How convenient for us. Oh, I never used that key on the file cabinet. I'm gonna go back to Dwayne's office and do that. And in that locked file cabinet, we have like all of the folders, files on everybody who Dwayne has signed up as an agent. There's Rick, who's apparently changed his name. There's Maddie, who apparently is proficient in lizard wrangling. And then there's Owen Spader's file, which tells us almost nothing. But now, when we go back to the director's office and look up his employee ID badge, nothing happens. Why isn't anything happening? Do I have to print this out?
It looks like Owen was on the set every time something happened to Rick.
There we go. Nancy finally got it. This guy is super shady, and whoever he is the guy that's threatening Rick. We got there eventually. Ooh, a present. A ticking present. Good news is it's not a bomb. It's an alarm clock. Much less scary than a bomb. That VHS that we took from the production room is a security camera tape, and it shows this person comically skulking around in a very funny disguise. It's very clearly Dwayne. He's not fooling anybody. Listen to that bass boost, man. If anybody is able to like remix this little clip into like an actual song, send it to me. I will post it everywhere. So now the game, we're basically almost done, but the game is like trying to pad out its own runtime, I guess. We have to now go around and ask everybody about Owen Spader.
Tell me, do you know where I can find Owen Spader?
And nobody knows anything.
It must be wonderful to work with Rick Arlen.
What that man needs is a good swift kick and a you-know-what.
What?
I'll be calling your agent to let him know we no longer require your services.
Oh cool, I got fired again. Yay! But after all that, we're finally able to go back to the apartment, and when we do, we get a call from the director, Lillian.
Can you meet me at the studio later tonight? I know you won't have any trouble getting in.
Oof. So, we go back at night, and we meet her, and this is finally when we're gonna get to, like, solve the mystery and stuff. Oh, I forgot to call, like, all of Nancy's friends. I was supposed to do that. Oh well.
I see our Miss Snoop has shown up.
Well, you asked me to come here. Don't ask me to come here and then, like, get on me for listening to you. So Lillian's also started receiving threatening letters now, and she's been, like, trying to solve the case herself, I guess. And now we get to accuse literally anybody we want in this entire game. I'm gonna accuse Dwayne. Let's pretend that I don't know the actual ending of this game. I'm gonna accuse Dwayne because he's been super sketchy. He was in Rio de Janeiro, and apparently that's where an embezzler was. It was clearly him on the security footage. And I've played this game lots of other times, and I knew it was him.
Your deaths will make a wonderful end to Act 1. I'm calling it One Death to Die.
He's such an over-the-top bad guy. So now we basically have to, before he comes down to murder us, we have to pull the fire alarm so that the security guard hears us. And then apparently, because he doesn't have a key to get in, we have to, like, override the emergency lock. And it's a guess and check, which I hate those because I'm always bad at them. And he killed me. This is easily the most terrifying, like, death ending that any of the games have. It's so dark. Am I gonna get it this time?
It's curtains for you, Miss Drew.
No, I died a second time. Let's try again. Third time's the charm. There we go. Now I got it.
What's going on in here? Hey, you!
Hey, Ralph. I'm telling you, they don't give Ralph enough credit. Everybody's like acting like he's a terrible security guard, and here he is saving Nancy's life. Thanks, Ralph.
Forget about it.
So Dwayne is now in prison, where he should be. Come on, guys, you could have gotten a better picture of Ralph than that. And yeah, everybody's happy, and it's a happy ending for everybody except for Dwayne because he's an evil bad guy. In case you missed it, because they kind of just skirt over it right at the end, he was trying to kill Rick because Rick left his agency, and then he went broke. You know how agents do. But yeah, that's the end of the game, everybody. I hope you liked it. It's been a while since I got to do a video game. And there's so many good old video games, so I'll be doing definitely more of them in the future. And be sure to check out the other ones. I've done 2 other videos on 2 other video games, both from Her Interactive, who made this game. Also, since this is like my 3rd video on a Nancy Drew related topic, I'm gonna give Nancy her own playlist, so if you're a Nancy Drew fan like I am, check that out too. I will link that somewhere. And yeah. I'm gonna end this video here, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Anything and everything you do to support this channel means so much to me. I love seeing your comments and seeing that you guys enjoy watching the videos, and that just makes my whole day. So thank you. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time, and ring the bell because my upload schedule is as chaotic as I am. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye.